Today, we'll explore the story of Dangun Wangyam, known as the legendary founder of the Korean nation. Dangun is more than just a mythical figure, he represents the origin of the Korean people, embodying our sense of identity and historical consciousness. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the myth of Dangun, his historical significance, and how his story continues to resonate in modern times. 1. Who was Dangun? Dangun, also known as Dangun Wangyam, is said to have founded the ancient Korean kingdom of Gojoseon. The term Dangun was a title for a ruler or priest king, a sacred leader who governed both politically and spiritually. The name Wangyam symbolizes royal authority, so together, Dangun Wangyam can be understood as the divine ruler. According to tradition, Dangun founded Gojoseon in 2333 BCE. While this date is considered mythical rather than historical, the story itself reflects ancient Korean values and cosmology, an attempt to explain the origins of civilization and divine kingship. 2. The myth of Dangun. The story of Dangun is most famously recorded in the Samgyeopsal, memorabilia of the Three Kingdoms. Heaven's Lord, Hwaenin, had a son named Hwanung, who wished to rule over the human world. Hwaenin granted his son permission, giving him 3 heavenly seals, Chunbin, as a token of divine authority. Hwanung descended to Mount Tibik with 3,000 followers and began to govern human affairs under the sacred tree called Sindansu. At that time, a bear and a tiger prayed to become human. Hwanung gave them a bundle of mugwort and 20 cloves of garlic, telling them, "If you stay in a cave for 100 days and avoid sunlight, you will become human." The tiger gave up and left, but the bear endured the trial and transformed into a woman. She became Eungyo the bear woman. Eungyo prayed for a child, and Hwanung took her as his wife. Their son was Dangun Wangyam, who later founded a nation called Joseon, establishing his capital at Asadal. This kingdom came to be known as Dangun Joseon, or Old Joseon. 3. The symbolism of the myth. This myth is not just a story, it's a symbolic narrative that reveals the spiritual roots of Korean culture. Hwanung represents heaven, and the bear symbolizes earth. Their union through Eungyo and Hwanung gives birth to Dangun, the bridge between heaven and earth, the divine and the human. Thus, Dangun embodies the harmony between the sacred and the mortal. Eungyo's transformation also symbolizes patience and purification, the process of becoming truly human through discipline and endurance. It reflects the ancient view that civilization arises through moral and spiritual refinement. 4. Dangun. In historical records, the story of Dangun appears in several key texts. Samgyeopsal, written in the 13th century, which preserves the mythic version of the tale. Juang-eunki, which presents Dangun's lineage and the founding of Korea in poetic form. Later sources such as the Sejong Silak Juriji, geographical appendix of King Sejong's annals, also mention Dangun and Gojoseon. These records reveal how Dangun was not merely a myth but a crucial part of Korea's cultural and political identity throughout history. 5. Dangun Joseon and Gojoseon. The nation founded by Dangun is called Dangun Joseon or Gojoseon, meaning Old Joseon. It is regarded as the first Korean kingdom, symbolizing the dawn of civilization on the Korean peninsula. Some later traditions divide early Joseon history into 3 stages: Dangun Joseon, Jaija Joseon, Wyman Joseon. This suggests that Dangun's descendants continued to rule across generations. The capital is believed to have been located near modern-day Pyongyang, or the Liaodong region in present-day China. Artifacts such as bronze daggers, the bypass style, and Misongni-type pottery are often associated with the early Gojoseon culture. 6. Scholarly interpretations and debates. Was Dangun a real person, or a mythical symbol? This question has long been debated among historians. Most mainstream scholars regard Dangun as a mythological or symbolic figure, since there is no archaeological evidence directly proving his existence. The written sources that describe him were compiled many centuries after the events they claim to record. However, some researchers argue that Dangun may have been a dynastic title, referring to a line of priest-kings rather than a single individual. Others suggest that the story preserves a distant memory of a real prehistoric ruler. Regardless of historicity, Dangun functions as a cultural origin myth, a narrative explaining how the Korean people understood their beginnings and divine heritage. 7. Sites and symbols associated with Dangun. Several sites in Korea are traditionally linked to Dangun. Manasan Chamseongdan on Gangwon Island, where Hwanung is said to have performed rituals to heaven. Mount Gwal and Asadal, believed to be Dangun's capital or sacred locations. These sites became important centers of national ceremony and cultural memory. Key symbols include the heavenly seal, Chanbin, the sacred tree, Sindansu, and altars, Dan, all representing the bond between heaven and humanity. 8. Dangun. In modern times today, Dangun continues to hold a meaningful place in Korean culture. He is remembered as a symbol of national identity and cultural unity. Every year on October 3rd, Korea celebrates Gaechunjeol, or National Foundation Day, commemorating the day Hwanung descended from heaven and Dangun founded Joseon. Modern literature, animation, documentaries, and even games reinterpret the Dangun myth in creative ways. The key is not to treat Dangun merely as an ancient legend, but as a living cultural story that still shapes how Koreans view their origins and values. The story of Dangun is more than just mythology, it's a reflection of the Korean people's spirit and worldview. It speaks of harmony between heaven and earth, endurance through transformation, and the divine roots of civilization. Revisiting the Dangun myth allows us to reconnect with these timeless ideas and carry their meaning into the present. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, please like and subscribe for more stories from Korean history and mythology. See you in the next episode.